All right, let's call to order the regularly scheduled meeting of the Town Technology Task Force. First agenda item is the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll hold up my trusty flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Awesome, thank you. Minutes. Anybody have any corrections or changes to our minutes?
Nothing more than the draft rules.
Just the typo there. Okay.
Everything else looked great.
Anybody have any other changes or modifications? Melissa, do we need to vote on that, or can we just?
It can just be by consensus.
All right, fair enough. All right, so the 2021 meeting calendar.
So this follows the normal
Melissa, do you want
format.
to just put that up on the screen? So.
Yeah, good idea. Let's do that. Okay. My only thought, because this is, I mean, as long as everyone's still comfortable with the normal format, if not, we can talk about it. But under the normal format, my only thing that I was going to flag was, I know we don't normally end up meeting in the July timeframe, but whenever we bump it out a week due to a holiday, we then have kind of a compressed timeframe between that meeting and the next. So, for example, the July to August meeting, that's only 3 weeks. Same thing from September to October, which we ran into this year too with Labor Day. So
Right.
I didn't know if we wanted to either pick like a Tuesday of the same week to accommodate that, or if we're fine with the way this works out. It's up to you all.
I'm good the way
Suggest
it
we
is.
do away with July 12th.
I'd say keep them and we can cancel as needed,
Right.
but have them on record essentially as a potential.
So keep them on the Mondays as outlined versus moving those two to a Tuesday.
Right.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, I like the consistency, and I get that we're pushing it off a week automatically because of those holidays that fall on the Mondays. But it's just one less thing to think about. And on those holidays, we just know it's bumping to the following week. So by changing it to different days, is that just messing with people? And is it a Monday meeting or a Tuesday meeting? I like the consistency of, all right, it's the first Monday of the month, and we'll deal with the compressed time cycles, compressed time frames of the July meeting and the September meeting. I heard someone propose that we drop I think it was you, Ray, drop
Yeah.
the July 12 meeting. Any strong consensus on that? The other option was just to leave it as is, and we can always cancel the meeting if we don't need it.
I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, I would just leave it, and then as we get nearer, make that decision.
Yeah, and that's historically what we've done. So I'm all right with that too. So yeah, why don't we?
Just a question though, July 5th would be the previous Monday. Is that a holiday this
I
year?
believe that's the observed holiday, so we would be closed.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when our office is observing a holiday. I agree. Any other comments on our schedule for next year?
Good.
Do we motion this or consensus?
Either way.
Consensus is easy.
Thank you.
All right, our next agenda item is the appointment of a chair and a vice chair. Now, we have a quorum. Our current vice chair is not here. Our current chairman is obviously here. I have been doing this for quite some time now, and I offered this last time. And well, actually, how should we do that, right? If I wanted to open it up, and we don't really specifically outline this in our rules of procedure, or proposed our draft rules of procedure, should we, if someone was or interested, do we ask for volunteers? Do we,
Is there a normal progression from the vice chair to the chair?
seeing as how the vice chair is not here, yes.
Oh, really?
Approved.
All in favor?
I was just wondering if he would be interested, and if you're willing to give up the chair. He's been practicing for the last year and a half or so.
Right. But I did not have any conversations with anyone offline regarding this topic. And, since he's not here, since Evan's not here, do we postpone this to the next meeting so that we can, see if he is interested or see if anyone else is interested?
Would that be a problem in terms of the new procedure we put in place?
I don't think so, since those haven't officially been adopted yet, and I think that's fine if you just bump it to the December meeting if you'd rather do that.
And if anybody's interested in any of those positions, do we just send a note to the chairperson?
I think that makes sense. I do have someone in the waiting room. I wonder if that's him, but I'll, just the phone number. I can't tell who's joining us right now.
Hi, this is Jason Casey.
Oh, hi, Jason.
Isn't-
Hello, sorry I'm late.
It's okay. So yeah, I think if either Mike or myself, we can send out an email maybe before the next meeting and just say if you have an interest in serving as chair or vice chair to let you know, and then that way we'll know ahead of time if you have multiple people interested before December.
Yeah, I should have thought about that in the agenda. Hey, communicate it and see if someone's interested. So yeah, let's move that to our next meeting.
Okay.
Communicate with crew.
Will
and
do.
yes, it's interesting.
All right.
Rules of procedure. So our subcommittee met a week and a half ago and borrowed from some of the other groups that are out there. Melissa kindly put together a draft for us, and the subgroup kind of hashed out the contents. And what you see before you now is that effort. It's pretty straightforward. Hopefully you guys had an opportunity to review this before now. And I would entertain comments or questions.
I found it
All the
to
changes.
be good.
Yeah, I think all the changes that we suggested, not all, there weren't that many, but the few changes that we suggested were incorporated. Thanks, Melissa.
And did we incorporate something about an annual work plan, or is that not something that's necessary? I'm kind of looking at 2021 and wondering what our priorities are.
Yeah, so that's here in section 6. We talked a bit about the timing of this, and we ultimately landed on an annual report, whatever form that takes, occurring at the end of November. One of the reasons is to coincide with, this group. The term typically, it always starts coterminous with the Board of Selectmen term, so December would be the start of a term. So it would make sense to structure your year that way.
And so the goals for the ensuing fiscal year would cover that.
Yeah, although that referencing the fiscal year, good point, probably doesn't make sense. So I should just probably strike the word fiscal and just say for the year. Using goals for the ensuing year.
Or just call it calendar year. But yeah, just leaving fiscal out is fine.
Well, it says we have the opportunity to have 9 members. Are we currently at 8?
You currently have 8 members. We had traditionally used the number 11 as your total membership. That's simply because I believe the first time this committee was established, during that first year, there were 11 members ultimately appointed. It was never officially determined how many members there would be. So we've been working off the number 11, but right now you have 8.
Okay, and in our procedure, we say we'll have 9, right? Under the composition and.
Yep.
So do we want to target 9? Is that the direction we're heading in?
That was my thought.
No, 9 sounds like a good number.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Paul. Yeah, it all looks okay to me. The only thing I was kind of wondering that I see missing that typically is how do we fill vacancies, kind of mid 2-year term. Seeing that we have one.
There was something in there.
I thought that was through the personnel subcommittee.
Right.
Yeah, I think it would follow the normal process, which is right here under 3C, following a recommendation from the personnel subcommittee. The Board of Selectmen ultimately appoints, but that's right, Mike. That's how we've been handling it.
Didn't we just do that recently? It came to personnel, and then we'd reach out to the parties usually. I don't know if it does for this committee. And then we had that whole list that came back to us during the year.
Right. We've sort of been using the personnel subcommittee as the interviewing body for this committee.
So are you saying that, not that the question is, but we have an opening on this committee?
Have an opening.
Yeah.
We do. We have Matt. Yeah, Matt Ledestri had been coming to our meetings, but we asked him to hold off until we had the personnel subcommittee make him a member.
Okay.
Or consider him for membership.
Great.
The 11 number, while realistic, I hemmed and hawed. It's more people we need for a quorum. For meetings, definitely wanted an odd number, not an even number, so that there's no split vote. If the other thought that I had was if we took 11 members, then that's 2 volunteers that might be willing to participate on another committee. So I wanted to be cognizant of that too, a board member on a bunch of different programs in town and having trouble finding volunteers. While we've been blessed to not have a lot of trouble finding volunteers for our task force, volunteers sometimes are very hard to come by. So that was the other reason why I like the 9 number instead of 11.
I'm good with 9. I think that works well.
Yeah, it's a good number.
I think that 9 also allows us the scale to be able to find the skill sets that we like to have. We did have a discussion about specifically looking for and outlining, roles and skill sets to try and fill in the specific chairs. But I wasn't real comfortable with that, and most of the rest of the subcommittee also wasn't comfortable with it, because then we may not be able to find volunteers to fill the roles.
I think the folks that put this together did a great job.
Agree.
That's great.
So the lion's share of the effort was Melissa. So thank you, Melissa.
Oh, you're welcome. Just we've done a few of these with other committees, so it was nice to have kind of a template to work off of. So, so I will strike the word fiscal in this section. Thank you for catching that. But other than that, this would be the version that would go to the Board of Selectmen next Monday. So I don't know if 1 or 2 of you who worked on it want to join the call that night just to be there for any questions that the board might have or feedback. We put it up high on the agenda in the event that someone could attend, and that way you wouldn't have to hang around for long. But
I'm happy.
I'll be there, of course. Okay, great. So I will make sure you have the link to that meeting next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments regarding the rules and procedures before we move on?
Oh, looks good.
All right. So our shared services survey, Rick and Melissa have been chipping away at communicating with the towns that did not respond. Melissa, can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, so we, I think where we left off, we had from Bill, your last memo was in regards to following up with the 5 towns that stated through the survey that they did do shared services. So we've had conversations with West Hartford, IT, and Mansfield, and it's proven very, very helpful to have these follow-up calls. So I'm glad we're doing it. Of course, there were 3 more towns that we should be connecting with. I think it was Plainville, Suffield, and Wethersfield, I believe. So we will hopefully be able to get those 3 in advance of our December meeting. So my question is, should we summarize what we learned from them in a particular way that would be helpful for kind of moving towards our final step in this process? And what are you hoping that looks like? How can we best kind of share what we learn in order to go to the next step, I guess, so that by December we're ready to kind of start to think about how we close the loop on all of this?
Yeah. I guess summarizing those conversations is probably a good start.
If I could suggest, maybe I like the idea of summarizing, because you folks have had those direct conversations and you can say exactly what the facts are. These are the towns that have moved in that direction, and they can share the experiences. And then maybe we need a very short task force meeting just to look at it and to say, what do we want to recommend, or what do we want to share within the town?
Yeah, that's a good idea, Bill. Yeah. Melissa, do you think you'd be able to facilitate a subgroup meeting for us for the shared services? Maybe we can try and do that for next week.
Sure.
And that'll give people some time to, you guys to work on a summary, if that's a realistic time frame. If it's not, it's not. And it gives us some time to chew on some stuff and get some stuff done before the December meeting, depending on what the subgroup pulls together. Yeah, rather than burning a bunch of time here now, it'd probably be good for us to catch our bearings. This COVID has definitely stretched this project out immeasurably. It probably is a good way to kind of re-engage with it. I know I'm not as connected to it in this moment as I was several months ago, so that would be very helpful for me.
Me as well. So that would be great.
All right, so yeah, I think that's a prudent next step for the shared service study.
Yeah,
Maybe sending it out before the December meeting to the rest of the group to kind of get some feedbacks.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and most of our work products are in the, we're trying to keep it all in the Google share. So, there's definitely information there. But yes, anything that the subgroup does, we'll definitely share out to the larger group in advance.
Remind me who's on that subgroup. I could probably.
I will figure that out and I'll get back to you, Melissa. I'll email you.
Okay. So if next week's not doable, we'll definitely look for something in the next 2 weeks. That way that group can get back together with enough time in advance of the December meeting.
Even if the tail of this week works, maybe we pitch a Thursday, Friday this week and a day or two next week and see what we can cobble together. We had pretty good attendance of the subgroup meeting on, was that a Thursday, like 12:30? I can't remember when the last one was. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, midday on a weekday.
Yeah, it worked out really nicely.
Okay, so we'll get that scheduled.
Yeah, we did it Wednesday at 12:30, and that seemed to work. So, I think we've already kind of throughout the meeting talked about our next steps and agenda items for the next meeting, which is our next agenda item. Does anybody have anything else to add, consider for our next meeting?
I just had a question about the discussions that we had about the network storage decision and timing. I was wondering if that was going well. I know there's probably not a lot you can share, but if we've concluded and are moving forward, that would be great to know.
Hey, Rick, are you on the line? I saw a town hall number join.
Yep, I am.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, Ray. So where we are right now is the agreement was okayed by the town manager's office. Move forward. We did get the contract back from Cyber North. The equipment was drop shipped, I believe it was last week. And right now we're just waiting for the electrician to give us a little power in the server room to support that equipment, and we're ready to go.
Good.
Yes.
And then the document that they gave me does have some information on it that could be deemed confidential, but I want to bring it to the next meeting or maybe show it in an executive session on some other things they found out that really is a bigger benefit than we thought, going with the solution we've gotten. So that was a pretty nice add-in that they provided us.
Good.
Cool.
Nice to have a good surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Those are
It
great.
really is.
Any other comments or questions or ideas for our next meeting?
My only other question was in regard to distance learning, how that's going. I know we had an update from Jason, and sounded like they were doing all the right things at the right time. Hopefully that continues.
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, there's daily issues with just individuals struggling, being home and being at the whim of whatever the internet is doing and whatever Google is doing. Just a lot of moving parts. So I can't say we've had one day where 100% spent the entire day without any issue, but we're doing the best we can do with it.
Great. The challenge.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
is.
It certainly is changing some of the landscape, because they're talking about no snow days anymore because they can do it online. And a lot of businesses are basically subletting some of their space because they won't need it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have heard commercial retail is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, a lot of commercial real estate's going to have problems.
Hey, Jason, this is Wendy. So do you guys act like as a help desk for all of the population of the schools?
Yeah, we do have a help desk email address for anyone experiencing problems with distance learning that's kept separate from the normal ticketing system.
Okay.
And that's just helpdesk@simsburyschools.net. Yep.
But it comes to you guys?
Yes.
Okay. I was just curious how you were doing that.
Yep. The lead technician that normally makes sure that incoming work requests are prioritized and assigned now is taking in requests from those two feeds, the normal ticketing system plus the help desk.
Thank you.
Jason, can you estimate how many or what percentage of the school population is doing distance learning?
I don't have that number.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah, I can report that back.
I thought I had heard it was around 18, but I'm not sure if that's the correct number.
I was going to say somewhere in the 20% range. So
Yeah.
that sounds about
Okay,
right.
that's good enough. Just curious.
Okay.
We have next door neighbors with two small children at Latimer Lane, and they're both in school full time. So they started hybrid, then they went to full time. But I don't know what dictates all the decisions. But.
Yeah.
Well,
And as you'd expect, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jason.
I was going to say, as you'd expect, the numbers are not evenly distributed across the grade levels. You have the younger kids being held or doing the distance learning at a higher percentage than the older. But
I heard from one of the New Britain shop teachers that he's typically got from 0 to 3 students in class at this point. And he says there's no swearing, no yelling going on, and he says it's weird.